So let me do a couple quick notes on this here. You can see the putty goes way beyond where those holes were. And this is my 6th or 7th pass now on this, and it's finally getting to the point where it seems like it may finally disappear. I'm not too confident on that yet though. So the original window was somewhere down here, and it got shifted up here, and it's been really difficult to get rid of the old seam, but it seems to finally almost be gone. I'll know once I put the primer down. And you can see I've got a lot more work to do on all the sanding. This got really scuffed up over time. I've been switching between 100, 600, and 1500 to try and get this going. And initially I was just patching around where the hole was. Finally I realized what I needed to do was simply blob down a huge pile of putty. And then I took a strip of plastic pretty much like this and squeegeed it out, up, down, and across and over. And that was the last pass, which seems to be doing semi-okay right now. Let's give it a squirt of primer, and then I'll talk about the rest of the model here. This stuff has been going down really thick recently. Hopefully I can keep it under control. Oh. Nice, huh? So I flip the can upside down and it blasts out fine. Flip it right back up and nothing. So let me try this dangerous trick. Really thick and blobby. There we go. Well, maybe it's finally gone. I'm gonna have to sand this down again because that went down like shit. But maybe that was finally it. It's taken forever. Well, it's taken at least a day, 2 days to get it this far. And that definitely feels like forever. So I'll definitely have to sand that down again. But maybe this was finally it. Well, up above, yeah, all around the window, you can definitely see a ring forming. And that's the plastic piece that I used to get that perfect circle. As the paint dries, we'll probably see if there's any other problems going on. So let's let that sit a moment. It looks like it's drying pretty fast, which is always nice. Over on this guy here, you can see some dirt along this area here. That's from the ceiling, so hopefully I don't have to worry about that. I may be able to brush that dirt off right there. I'm not really doing anything with the bottom at all right now. I'm going to save that for the next FlightLog when we start doing the electronics. What I think I'm going to be doing in both cases, these LEDs and these here, is completely rip them out. Turns out that an LED strip is almost exactly this tall, so I'll be able to put it right at the base facing outward this way so the light bounces up and back into the room. I think that's going to give a really smooth look overall, because right now, thinking back to a lot of the other videos that I've done when I showed off the interior with the ceiling in place, you can see hot spots everywhere, and that is primarily due to the distance and the strength of all these LEDs. So I need to tone them down and put a lot more of them a lot closer, and I think that will kill the hot spots and give a much nicer look overall. And while these LEDs here work fine on the freezer walls, it's a lot of chaos, a lot of noise. I'm going to strip all that, make it really nice and simple, and just put a single 1-foot strip in there. It's probably about a foot there, I think. And wire that up. I don't think I'll be pulling out anything else. You know, looking back at this, I can definitely think of better ways to have gone about doing this. But it's functional, and everything should be fine as is. Don't have to worry about anything down there anytime soon. Let's move this. Yeah, this is drying good. So over on this side you can see some lighter spot. and that's where the window used to be. But this is definitely the best it's looked so far, and you can definitely see a dark spot right in there, the light spot here. So the shape of the old window in my repairs is still there to some degree, but it's not too bad. Let's shoot this with, well, let's wait a while and then shoot it with some more primer and see what happens. Moving over to the floor, what I've done since the last video is, as you may be able to see down at the bottom, is to take some Ava's 2-part epoxy, and I ran that along every single edge that is here, going up the walls. I didn't do up the walls on these pieces because of the clear plastic, but essentially this will definitely kill any light leak coming through on the floor areas, and there will be some. You can see a little bit right there, for example. One of the things I have to do in this area is create the fake floor. I've been looking at my reference for that, and the floor definitely rises up from a low point here to a high point up here. I'd say it even goes as high as that. However, what I'll be doing is, here is the broken piece off the outer hull for the hatchway. That will essentially be the new floor stop. There is a framework coming off the side here, going across the top and down. I've got to recreate that. The model company made that part of the door that I am not putting in. So I will either have to cut the door out or make new parts. I'm more likely to make new parts. The set is obviously much different than the scale model. The company made a lot of decisions when they decided what goes where and how. So the outer shape here is not what's going on set, essentially. They made this much sharper straight down than the more graceful angle of the studio model would allow. But there is essentially a 2x4 going down here, one going down there, one across, one down again, and the fake floor has no 2x4s, but it does have a rise. In fact, I would say it even rises right to about there, is probably what's going to happen on this. Still got to put that tube in, drill the holes in here for that. There's definitely a few more things going on in this area here. No worries on that. One other reason why I put all this epoxy in was to stop the flexing. When you pick the whole floor up like this, the weight of it just flexes the entire piece of plastic. So like this clear frosted piece here was a bit loose on the wall, so I glued that together. So that's nice and tight now, I think. Is this one still loose? Yeah, so I'm gonna have to run a bead of glue down this to get rid of that looseness. And of course the back room still has to go in there as well. Looking at my reference for that, I know the photo isn't correct for this, but essentially the photo is sitting on a cork board. I forgot about the cork board. There's a fire extinguisher right next to it, and the one episode I saw from my reference, there looks like there's a, what we would call a modern computer case sitting in there, a silver box basically. I'll probably put the elevator control in sooner than later, just so I can get that fiber optic. And yeah, I think all the white stuff down in the corners there, that should just be a lot of the baking soda I've been using. And hopefully the bad seams on the floor there will be partially hidden at least by the cage that's going in. So I think that's it for this video. Oh yeah, let's get back to the hull here. So yeah, this kind of thing just is not disappearing for me at all yet. So I'm going to wait another minute, 20 minutes. I'll shoot it with some more primer, sand it, put some more Bondo on it if I need to, sand it again, primer it, repeat, 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 until it's finally smooth and good. Yeah, so right along here, that's where the original repair is. Going out to here is where the extremes of my cuts were. I don't think that was one right there, but it definitely went low and over, and I'll get this eventually. Thanks for watching. See you in the next clip.